My company, Apex Manufacturing, was my life's work. I built it from nothing, brick by brick, over 2 decades. Every machine, every employee felt like family. My legacy was tied to its success, a testament to hard work and dedication. Sarah, my wife of 20 years, stood by my side through it all. She was my confidante, my partner, the anchor in my life. I trusted her completely, more than anyone else. Our life together felt perfectly crafted, secure and unshakable. Then small things started to shift. A quarterly report showed an unexpected dip in a key revenue stream. It was minor, almost negligible. I saw it as a temporary fluctuation, a market adjustment. Business had its ups and downs. I told myself it was just a blip. We had faced tougher times before and always prevailed. My focus was on innovation, on keeping Apex at the forefront. I dismissed the figures as a minor operational issue, nothing serious to worry about. One afternoon, Mark, a sharp junior analyst, approached my office. He was usually quiet, focused on his numbers. He seemed hesitant, almost nervous. He held a printout in his hand, his eyes scanning the page. He pointed to a series of outgoing payments. These vendor accounts, he began. They don't quite match our usual suppliers, and the amounts are unusually high for what they claim to deliver. His voice was low, cautious. I looked at the names. They were unfamiliar. A cold feeling started in my stomach. I tried to push it away, to find an easy explanation. But the seed of doubt, small and insistent, had been planted. It began to take root. Later that week, I reviewed the company's main operating account. A significant transfer, several $100,000, had been made. The description was vague: operational expenses. No specific project, no clear recipient. This was not a blip. This was a pattern. My stomach tightened, a knot of disbelief forming in my chest. The idea that something was truly wrong, deeply wrong, began to settle. It felt like a betrayal of everything I had built. I knew I needed to act. This was not about anger, but about ensuring the integrity of Apex, my life's work. I would uncover the truth meticulously and strategically. Justice for my company, my legacy, would be achieved. The minor dip in revenue had worsened. I reviewed the new reports closely. Significant financial discrepancies appeared. They were linked to specific, seemingly innocuous projects. This was not a random market shift. I decided to conduct my own audit. It had to be quiet and personal. I needed to scrutinize every record. The truth was hidden in the numbers. I would uncover it myself. I started with the project files Mark had flagged. They should have been straightforward, but the expenses listed did not add up. There were too many inconsistencies. Some records were incomplete. Others were unusually complex. It felt like a deliberate attempt to obscure the facts. A pattern of deception was forming. I began to notice Sarah and Mark more. Their interactions were subtle. They had hushed conversations in the hallway. They often met behind closed doors. Their communication was unusual. They exchanged quick glances. Their voices were always low. It was clear they were hiding something significant. My suspicion grew stronger. One afternoon, I saw Mark discard a paper. It was a bank statement. The logo was unfamiliar to me. It was not one of Apex's official banks. I investigated the bank name. It led me to a hidden account. This account was not linked to Apex Manufacturing. It was completely off the books. Large sums of money had flowed into it. This was not just poor accounting. This was a deliberate scheme. Sarah and Mark were orchestrating it. The true nature of the irregularities was clear. My wife and my trusted executive. The betrayal was deeper than I imagined. I knew their game now. I would ensure justice for Apex. I found the digital trail. It was an email, intimate and undeniable. Sarah and Mark, their words confirming everything I feared. My worst suspicions were now concrete. The dates on the email matched the financial anomalies I had uncovered. Their personal betrayal was deeply intertwined with the company's decline. It was a calculated, synchronized attack. I traced the siphoned funds, transaction by painstaking transaction. Shell companies, inflated invoices, all routed through that hidden account. The precision of their scheme was chilling. Key projects had been deliberately sabotaged. Delays in production, missed deadlines, all designed to weaken our market position. Their intent to dismantle Apex was now undeniably clear. 20 years, a lifetime of shared dreams and building. It was all a lie, a carefully constructed facade for their elaborate scheme. The weight of that deception was a heavy blow, but the initial shock quickly fueled a new resolve. This was not about emotion now, it was about exposing their intricate methodical scheme. My focus became absolute and strategic. Sarah walked into my office one afternoon, a practiced, almost innocent smile on her face. "Everything all right, Ethan?" she asked. I met her gaze, a silent, knowing promise in my eyes. "Just fine, Sarah, just fine." I spent days cross-referencing every document, every communication. The patterns emerged, undeniable and damning. Each piece of evidence was a step towards their inevitable accountability. Then I found it. A signed contract, an unauthorized transfer, a direct link from Sarah's personal account to one of the shell companies. It was the final, irrefutable piece of the puzzle. The next phase required precision and absolute discretion. I had everything I needed to proceed. Their professional consequences would be as meticulously planned as their treachery. The game was about to change. I walked into the kitchen, acting like any other morning. Sarah was there sipping her coffee. She smiled, a familiar gesture that now felt cold. I returned it, careful to keep my expression neutral. They still thought they had me fooled. Mark approached me in the hallway at Apex. He spoke about new projections, his voice confident. I listened, nodding occasionally, pretending to consider his points. Inside, I saw through his carefully constructed lies. He believed his deception was flawless. I often saw Sarah and Mark together. They would whisper, then quickly separate when I appeared. Their quick glances held a secret understanding. I watched them, a silent observer gathering more data. Their confidence in their secret was growing. My first call was to David, a trusted legal expert. We had worked together on complex cases before. I spoke carefully, using coded language. He understood immediately, his voice calm and reassuring. We needed absolute discretion. Next, I contacted a forensic accounting firm. Their reputation for uncovering financial schemes was unmatched. I explained the situation in broad terms. They assured me of their capabilities and confidentiality. This was a critical step. We set up an off-site office for the investigation. No one at Apex knew about it. It was a secure location, away from prying eyes. This allowed us to work without interruption. Every document, every detail would be analyzed there. I spent evenings transferring files, copying records, and backing up data. Every suspicious transaction, every vague expense was logged. I built a comprehensive database. This evidence would be irrefutable when the time came. The evidence grew daily. Emails, bank statements, company ledgers, each piece connected to the next. The forensic team found more discrepancies. They confirmed the patterns of diversion. The case against them was becoming airtight. The raw pain of betrayal had not vanished, but it was now a focused energy. My mind was sharp, clear, and strategic. I envisioned their downfall not as revenge, but as a necessary consequence. Justice for Apex was my only goal. I knew exactly what steps to take next. The legal framework was solid. The financial evidence was overwhelming. Soon, their carefully constructed world would crumble. The professional consequences would be severe and public. The forensic team's report landed on my desk. It detailed layers of shell companies. Each one was a new channel for siphoning Apex's funds. The complexity was staggering, a testament to their careful planning. They had established accounts in different names, all linked to Sarah and Mark. These accounts received diverted assets. It was a clear pattern of calculated financial manipulation. The scope of their scheme was now fully visible. The full extent of their deception was chilling. They had woven a tight web of deceit designed to bankrupt my company. But seeing it all laid out piece by piece only hardened my resolve. My path forward became clearer. David, my legal expert, reviewed the findings. He pointed out critical legal vulnerabilities in their approach. "These are not just ethical breaches, Ethan," he stated calmly. "These are clear violations with severe professional consequences." We pinpointed the precise moments for their exposure. Each move had to be timed perfectly. The objective was not just to stop them, but to ensure full accountability for their actions. This required strategic patience. I began making discrete operational changes at Apex. Access to certain financial systems was subtly restricted. Key digital data was backed up and secured off-site. These were quiet moves unnoticed by Sarah and Mark. New protocols for financial oversight were implemented. They were framed as routine updates, part of a restructuring effort. This secured critical assets without raising suspicion. I watched their reactions carefully, but they remained oblivious. I also secured physical documents, moving them to a safe, off-site location. The original files remained in place, undisturbed. This ensured an unbroken chain of evidence. Every detail mattered in this process of securing justice. The blueprint for their professional consequences was now complete. My own vindication would follow naturally. It was a comprehensive plan, meticulously crafted. The emotional pain had transformed into unwavering resolve. I looked at Sarah across the dinner table that night. She smiled, unaware. The quiet certainty of what was to come filled me. Their world would soon change irrevocably. The truth and its consequences were about to be revealed. The boardroom felt charged with a quiet tension. I sat at the head of the long table. Sarah and Mark were already there, looking confident. They exchanged quick, knowing glances. They still believed they held all the cards. Other key stakeholders were present. The company's board members and our legal counsel, David, sat ready. My demeanor was calm, collected. I held a remote in my hand, ready to begin. The silence in the room was palpable. I began my presentation. My voice was steady, clear. I showed the first slide. It displayed the initial financial discrepancies. Their smiles began to falter just slightly. A flicker of unease crossed Sarah's face. Next, I presented the details of the hidden accounts. The shell companies appeared on screen. Mark shifted uneasily in his seat. His confident posture started to crumble. Sarah stared at the screen, her eyes wide. I moved to the specific transactions, each one clearly linked to Sarah and Mark. The irrefutable evidence piled up. Their treachery was laid bare for everyone to see. Panic began to replace their earlier confidence. David then spoke. He outlined the severe legal implications: corporate fraud, breach of fiduciary duty. His words were precise, unyielding. The full weight of their actions became clear. There was no escape for them now. I formally initiated legal proceedings for corporate fraud. The board listened in solemn silence. This was not a negotiation. It was the start of their accountability. Justice for Apex was my primary focus. Then I addressed Sarah directly. I informed her of the divorce proceedings. The personal betrayal had its own consequences. Her face was a mask of disbelief and shock. Our 20 years together ended in that moment. Their immediate removal from Apex Manufacturing was confirmed. Security personnel were discreetly waiting. Their access to company systems was revoked. They were escorted from the premises. Their reign of deception was over. The news would spread quickly through the industry. Their professional reputations, once stellar, would crumble. This was not revenge, but the necessary consequence of their choices. Their downfall had truly begun. The legal proceedings began swiftly. My team presented our meticulous evidence. Each document, every financial record was laid bare. Their initial defense, built on denial, quickly faltered under the weight of truth. The path to accountability was clear. Sarah and Mark's legal counsel attempted to discredit the findings, but my forensic team's work was unassailable. The intricate web of shell companies and diverted funds was undeniable. Their arguments crumbled, leaving them exposed and vulnerable. The court's decision was definitive. I officially reclaimed full control of Apex Manufacturing. It was a significant victory, not just for me, but for the company's integrity. The first step in restoring my legacy was complete. Immediately, I initiated a comprehensive restructuring. Every department underwent a thorough audit. We needed to identify and remove all systems corrupted by their scheme. This was about purging the remnants of their sabotage. The audit revealed deeper layers of their influence. Hidden agreements, compromised data, and manipulated supply chains emerged. We meticulously dismantled each one. It was a painstaking process, but essential for Apex's future stability. News of the events at Apex spread throughout the industry. Public and professional support began to rally. Many recognized the resilience required to navigate such profound betrayal. Their messages of solidarity were encouraging. Industry leaders contacted me directly. They expressed respect for my integrity and my strategic approach. This external validation was important. It helped reinforce Apex's standing and my own professional reputation. Meanwhile, Sarah and Mark faced the full weight of legal and financial consequences. The court imposed significant penalties and restitution. Their professional lives were irrevocably altered. Accountability had been delivered. My focus shifted to rebuilding, not just Apex, but my own professional reputation. I invested in new talent and reinforced our ethical standards. The company emerged stronger, a testament to its foundational values. The emotional scars remained, but my resolve was unwavering. I found strength in the strategic victory and the restored integrity of my work. The future, while challenging, held the promise of true vindication and lasting legacy. The judge's final words echoed in the quiet courtroom. Sarah and Mark stood, their faces pale and drawn. The verdict was clear, the consequences severe. Their scheme had fully unraveled, leaving them with nothing. Justice had been served. News of their downfall spread like wildfire. Industry reports detailed their corporate fraud. Their reputations were shattered, their careers over. The public saw their true faces. They faced complete professional ruin. Back at Apex, a new energy filled the air. The restructuring efforts paid off quickly. Our teams worked with renewed purpose. The company's financial health improved steadily. We were moving forward, leaving the past behind. Innovation became our guiding principle. New product lines launched successfully. Our market share grew stronger than ever. Apex was not just recovering, it was thriving. We emerged from the crisis wiser and more prosperous. I often reflected on the journey. The betrayal had been a deep wound, but it also forged a stronger me. I learned about resilience, about true loyalty. The lessons were hard but invaluable. I saw the world with new eyes. My perspective had shifted completely. I no longer chased fleeting successes. Integrity became the true measure of worth. I focused on building lasting value. My vision for Apex was clearer than ever before. A quiet peace settled within me. The bitterness had faded, replaced by calm satisfaction. I had ensured accountability. My company was safe, my legacy intact. The ordeal was over and I was free. My purpose was renewed. I dedicated myself to Apex's future. We invested in our people, in ethical practices. This was about more than profit. It was about building a legacy of integrity, a true and honest empire. The outcome was not about revenge, it was about justice. Sarah and Mark faced their professional consequences. My vindication was complete. I had fought for what was right. And I had won. They had tried to dismantle my world. They failed completely. Apex stood stronger than ever. Their names became a cautionary tale. My legacy remained solid and unyielding. I had the last word.